Stanley Mathabatha became the Premier of Limpopo in 2013, taking over from the administrators following the era of his predecessor, Castle Matale. Prior to that, he was an ambassador to Ukraine. He served 2 full terms after the 2014 and 2019 general elections. Mathabatha says over the past decade, his administration has worked tirelessly to bring stability and sound administration.
5 departments were under administration, including Treasury. And once you have Treasury being under administration, it then implies that almost the entire provincial government is under administration, including the municipalities. We have stabilized finances, both in provincial entities. All provincial government departments today don't have that concept called disclaimer audit opinion, which was a huge problem for us. Because once they say you've got a disclaimer audit opinion, it means the Auditor General cannot make head or tail out of your finances.
Mathabatha says although he's proud of the progress made under his leadership, more could have been done to curb corruption and the VBS saga. Several people in different parts of the country are facing charges for their alleged involvement in the VBS corruption and looting. Limpopo remains the epicenter of the bank heist. Most of the municipalities involved in that saga are in the province.
Let me talk about corruption. Corruption. Despite the fact that I would not say we failed, but I would say perhaps had we anticipated that local government is going to have the kind of problems that it had, you have VBS, for example, had we anticipated that, we could have stopped it before it happened, because we could have used the professional hub that I was talking about to advise local government that you can invest in a mutual bank. The Public Finance Management Act doesn't allow you to do so.
Mathabatha contested the position of ANC chairperson at the ANC's 55th National Conference in Nasrec last year. ANC Limpopo pledged its support for President Cyril Ramaphosa, but made a U-turn in the 11th hour to support the KwaZulu-Natal nominees. Although Mathabatha lost, he says the conference didn't affect his relationship with President Ramaphosa.
There is no enmity there. We're still friends with Gwete. Even after we're still friends. Nothing changed. We're still friends with Comrade Cyril. Nothing changed. I'm able to go to Comrade Cyril's farm and sit down with him. And there's nothing. There's no difference. It did not make any difference. A conference of the African National Congress it's not a conference of enemies. It's a conference of comrades. If you lose, you must support. There is what we call organizational discipline. If you lose, you must be the first one who supports the one that you're contesting with.
Meanwhile, Workers' Union Nehau and political analyst Enoch Maponya have expressed mixed views about Mathabatha's tenure.
When he came in, he has managed to take the province out of the Section 100 and make sure that the departments are able to provide services to the people of Limpopo. So that is where the legacy that we think he has done pretty well in that regard. In this term of office, which is the last term of his office, he has actually lost the ball, or took his eyes off the ball, because there has been a lot of corruption that has been happening, and it has been reported to his office, but unfortunately, he chose to ignore all those allegations that have been put to him, to take action against the corrupt activities that are happening in some of the departments.
Premier Mathabatha also succeeded in uniting the various ethnic groups that belonged to the previous Bantu stands. And he also created a conducive political environment to the extent that it's now possible for a female premier to be appointed after he has left the province. Premier Mathabatha has long been talking of the Makhado Musina economic hub, which would have created employment for, in particular, the youth. But up to date, that program has not taken off.
Some residents in Limpopo say that Mathabatha could have done more to improve the lives of the people.
Then he was good some other times, because there is some other things those he was just promising to do it. For example, there is some other roads he was promising to build it, but unfortunately he failed. So I can just mention it. The road at Adok site to Haselepe, he just mentioned for several times. Another one, it was Magurung line from Magurung to Sheikhs. He did mention those roads for several times, but even now the roads are still not fixed. Yes, the people are still suffering.
In terms of his tenure as Premier of the province, I did not quite like his leadership. I resided Ivy Park, and one would think that since it's in town, we wouldn't have water provision challenges. However, that is not the case. Almost every day, we are without water, which makes it difficult to carry out even the simplest home chores. It has gotten to a point where we have to buy bottled water, even to flush toilets.
Mathabatha says he'll be leading the ANC delegate to Parliament after the May 29 general elections. He says his future will be determined by his political home of African National Congress. I'm Koke Chomotau, SABC News, Gampahlele.